manual shifting with the shifter on this game. Now we're doing this in VR just to show you something. So if I try to shift it really fast, it does kind of work, right? But you have to have your timing in line with the animated shift, because if you don't, you're kind of going to get a little bit of a grind. So the reason they did this is because there was a benefit to using the manual shifter in some of the daily sport races. The daily sport races consist of you using regular cars. You can use the manual shifter. As you see, you have a manual transmission, and when you shift the car, you've got a slight advantage over the paddle shifter. When you use the paddle shifts on non-DCT cars, it has a slower shift, considerably slower shift. So there's an advantage to guys that go between shifter and paddle shift to exploit the game. You just heard that misshift right there. They added in an audio tone to a transmission misshift, which is entertaining, but it would be more entertaining if you let it shift properly. Now, Gran Turismo's never really did an awesome job with the manual shifting on here. It's always been some sort of a hiccup and hocus pocus to it, like how I'm misshifting right there. You have to let off of the throttle 100% before you depress the clutch. Once you depress the clutch, you shift the gear, let off of the clutch 100%, and then apply the throttle. They didn't really do too much of a different thing except for make that more pronounced. So now you really do have to focus more with your driving on your shifting than anything else. Because if you want to drive fast, you're going to want to get those quick shifts in. Downshifting's no problem, as you see, but as you're going through the course and you're really getting after it, 100% off, clutch in, shift, back on throttle every single time. You can't leave a little bit of throttle on the board or else you're going to miss shift. This is a really nice section right here. Now we're driving one of the newest upload content, the 88 Countach. This is the fucking jam. Looks amazing. Pure white interior, and I chose to go with the blue because I never really go blue on Lamborghinis. Actually shifting this thing like you got a damn gated shifter is pretty entertaining. That was a misshift. Yep. There we go. Now, instead of waiting to hear the rev, you kind of got an audio note that lets you know, hey, you are grinding gears. Which is kind of funny, I guess. They've also changed a few more audio tones, like tire squeak. And, oh man, the shift. I can shift my cars fast as shit. They solely did this to balance out the competition when you're using the daily races and you're driving manual transmission cars. Now, something that they've done before that I think they should have continued to do instead of do this is put in a close ratio transmission. You can't use the clutch on those transmissions, and they shift faster than just regular paddle shifting. That's something that they should have done to keep people from being upset. Let's try to get through here. I'm not familiar with this track, so I don't even remember where I'm at. Oh wow. I'm driving this for actually the first time. Well, maybe second time. This is my first time on the track, but this is my second time driving it right now. I drove it once before I started the stream. But, you know, that would have kept the complaints down. Right now, before I actually got on, misshift. Before I got on, it's just a slew of complaints on the wall. I went and jumped on GT Planet just to see if it was something that was consistent. Everybody's complaining about it. Then I got on to see for myself just to see if people were being some pansies. And no, it's actually pretty fucking bad. And for me, I really don't drive the GT cars too much. I love putting in time on regular road cars. And all of them being manuals, I spend a lot of time driving manual transmission. So I got over how the game had its flaw in its original shift format. Having another one that's more imperative is actually kind of annoying now. So I don't know what the fuck Polyphony is thinking about. They aren't making this game more realistic. They're doing too much balancing out shit. Like they balance a car every week on the upload or the maintenance. There's always a balance and reshift of power to make cars more competitive. No, motherfucker, don't do that. The cars are how they are. If you want to use an exploit car, oh well, you're using an exploit car. You're square for using it, and maybe they should just block that car out of the game. But don't try to match up all the other cars to be just as quick as the exploit car, because that's not how it goes. So now they're balancing out the way that you use your damn equipment, because I drive on a steering wheel. I don't drive on a control. I don't paddle shift or hit bumpers to shift my gears. I actually use the H pattern, and this is a pain in the dick. And it just makes you shift slower. Like, that's annoying. You're penalizing me for doing the right thing, which I don't like. If you want to keep people from jumping between the two, because like first, second, third gear is more beneficial using a shifter, then paddle shifting fourth and higher is kind of what I've seen some people do. Do like a Subtle Corsa or Project Cars or one of those two, I don't remember, but if you use the shifter, if you use the clutch and shifter off the line, you can't use the paddles anymore. And vice versa, if you use the paddles, you can't use the clutch and shifter anymore. That's what should happen to keep all of the riffraff down. Because see, people like to play games and find exploits instead of simulate a great experience. I'd rather simulate a great experience and drive against a lot of people, and if I'm not the fastest, doesn't matter, because I'm not in it to play the game. I'm in it to have a sick-ass experience. And having a sick-ass experience driving against my friends is pretty dope. I can't jump between an automatic, a paddle shift, or a manual on my real cars when I'm driving in real life. So, you know, they should kind of simulate that effort in this game. Where am I going? Oh, yeah, this is the hairpin in third. Hairpin to a switchback, which would be really gnarly in this car because it's rear engine. To a deep one right here. Alright. We're getting through this track. Oh yeah, this is tighter than I thought it was. Stay in it. And I need Gran Turismo to really quit fiddling with this other dumb shit and expand VR for me. I would really love to do more than just these solo races in VR. I'd really like to get some online content racing against other people in VR, or give us or give us a campaign in VR where we can compete against more than one other car for 2 laps. But that's cool, whatever. The game has changed. It's interesting. I'm kind of disappointed in that. I don't really give a shit about the Formula cars that they added. The Fiat, I mean, not the Fiat, but the Lancia is cool. Whatever. But they really better get their shit together, because if some other game comes to console, or Project Cars, or Assetto Corsa, one of them update, gonna have hell to pay. So Gran Turismo better stop trying to be so fucking innovative, or whatever the hell they're trying to do, which is changing the experience to a far more whack experience. They better stop that shit, man. They better step it up and add some entertainment. I should be able to keep my foot flat on the floor and do a no lift upshift, clutch kick upshift. They got to change the handbrake to strike a little bit harder. Because when we're drifting, that's what we use. The handbrake is very slow reacting, as if you pulled it all the way up very slowly to lock instead of yanking it to lock as you would on drifting. And speaking of lock, going to full lock when you're drifting, the steering going to full lock, it makes it really shitty when you get fully sideways. So all of those things need to change. You just get locked on ice when it goes full sideways. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm done ranting. I still love it. Gran Turismo still like the console king, but goddamn boy, you got people sharp on your heels, so you better clean your damn act up before we fully abort and go somewhere else.